Welcome into the Business on Purpose podcast. Scott Beebe, your head coach and the founder. All of you heroic small business owners, we don't ask you to, I don't know that I've ever asked you to do this. Number one, I want to tell you thank you. You're a heroic small business owner, and the reason you're listening to this podcast ultimately is you want to invest in yourself, your growth, your development, your spiritual growth, physical growth, emotional growth, and this is a place where we share real stories of other heroic small business owners. We get out of the conference rooms and we come right here on this podcast to share it with you. So I want to tell you thank you. You've got a non-multipliable commodity of your time. You can't get more of it. And you're taking time instead of listening to, something just kind of, trivial. You're taking time to listen to something that's going to make some reasonable investment in you. Some episodes are going to be high levels of investment. Some will be lower. It doesn't matter. But regardless, there's always a level of investment because it's forcing you to think. So thank you. I'm humbled. Second thing is there are other heroic small business owners that need that same level of investment. So I'm going to ask you to share this episode right now, and it'll be a little odd when when your friend gets it and hears this, because they'll realize why you shared it is because I asked you. But to me, there's a level of compassion and thoughtfulness in that, and I'm going to ask you to share the episode. Not so much so they can hear this episode, although it's going to be good because I'm talking about mentors and what they've done for my life because of the day that I had yesterday, but also because I want them to subscribe to this so that they can get a daily dose or 3 to 4 times a week of just investment. So anyway, there you go. Find the share button. If you're on the website or if you're on a podcast app on your device, find the share button, share it right now. Mentorship. Yesterday was a powerful day. I talked to Aaron Walker, a mentor, my business coach. I had lunch with John Wigington, a mentor of mine, a man filled with wisdom. I then went to take my boys to a college basketball game where the head coach, Barclay Radebaugh of the Charleston Southern Buccaneers, is a longevity mentor of mine. He was a mentor of mine in college. I haven't seen Barclay in probably 20 years. We spent about 7 minutes together, and he took 7 minutes to speak life, and it was powerful. And so I want to share with you what I got from mentors yesterday so that you know what to look for. Number one, some mentors I've asked to mentor me, but I've not overtly said, will you mentor me? Instead, what I've asked is, I want to be around you. Can I have lunch with you? Don't ask to be mentored. Just invite somebody to lunch. Set up a phone call. Be proactive. Get it done. And when you come prepared. Don't waste their time. If they're valuable enough to be your mentor, they're valuable enough for you to prepare. Don't waste their time. Be ready to rock and roll when you have that time with them, because guess what? They can't multiply their time either. So don't look for 2 and 5 and 7 hours. If they give that to you because they want to, great. But don't look for it. Try to get the meat out of 7 minutes or 38 minutes or an hour and 16 minutes. John Wigington had a bag, and on the bag, it was a quote by Thomas Jefferson that said, "I cannot live without books." It was on the bag. In the bag were 7 books and the latest copy of the Harvard Business Review magazine. There were a book like Ray Dalio's Principles book. There was a book, The Power of Story, or something having to do with story. I forget the author. I apologize for that. There were wisdom books. There were interesting books. There was a book by Jim Koch, the founder of Samuel Adams Brewery, teaching me to think differently. And then there was the conversation where John sat down and just began to ask, tell me about this, tell me about this, I want to know about this. This confirms God's leading in my heart about you around this. And what he did is he just spoke wisdom. Last night, after a loss, Barclay Radebaugh and his wife Hope took minutes to speak wisdom. Aaron Walker, when we talk strategy, we talk a lot of different things because we talk a lot. But when he speaks, he does not relent wisdom. What makes a mentor is they're willing to take the precious, non-multipliable commodity of time, and instead of speaking with triviality, they're willing to ingest and invest and take the risk of sharing wisdom. John told me yesterday, this year, I want you to read, I want you to reflect. And there was one other, and I think maybe you remember, there's one other R. I need to go back. I just got it yesterday, so don't hate. But I want you to read, I want you to reflect, and I want you to, I think the third was remember, but I need to go find it. Actually, I've got my notes. Let me open my notes just to make sure I'm saying the right thing. Respond. That's right. Action, implementation, what we talk about all the time. Read, reflect, and respond. He talked about the treasure of social relationship. He talked about what the world's greatest investors do. The two most powerful investors in the world. Ray Dalio, hedge fund manager, wrote the book Principles, and Warren Buffett's kind of a whisperer. I forget the guy's name. Two greatest investors in the world historically. Today, what do they both have in common? Transcendental meditation and evolution. Two areas that I really struggle in terms of core conviction with. But I liken them to gospel terms. As many of you know, that I'm a follower of Jesus and I'm a student of God's Word. And so I'm looking to, how does that transfer into simple, personal, spiritual disciplines, number one? And number two, instead of evolution, because I'm under the conviction of God creating the earth, what does innovation look like? And how do I embed those into what we're doing? Isn't that wise? I mean, it's so wise. Some of you are going, man, that's really deep. Some of you are thinking, well, Scott, you're flirting with disaster. No. That's wisdom that I'm trying to think through that. And John told me right before we left, he said, Scott, wisdom with love works. Wisdom with love works. Mentors share things with you that you may not quite understand right now. They leave nuggets with you to chew on as little morsels so that you can take with you. Wisdom mentors don't necessarily lead you to strategic outcomes today. They provide you principled tools that transcend time. When I have guys like Aaron, when I have guys like John, when I have guys like Barkley, all in one day, who invest wisdom, that is a rich day. That is a wealthy day. That is a powerful day, and it's a day that I can chew on for a long period of time. So here's my question for you. Who are your mentors? Who are they? And are you being proactive to spend time with them? What are they investing in you? John also told me, and he's always invested books in me every year. This year he got me a lot of books and got me Amazon gift cards. He had a client. He started sending this client books. That client then began to open up the trove of new context, which led into new business. It wasn't the point of John sending the books. John sent the books because wisdom with love works. But he said, you know what put him over the edge? Books. Thomas Jefferson said, I cannot live without books. My Greek professor in graduate school said, if you're down to your last dollar and you have to choose between eating and books, choose books. Who are your mentors? I want you to think of somebody right now. I want you to call them and set lunch with them for 1 hour and tell them it's going to be 1 hour only. And just ask questions. Mentors are powerful. Thanks for joining us. See you right here next time on the Business on Purpose podcast.